So what was this obscure political party formed in Munich in 1920, and what did it stand for? The Nazi Party grew out of the DAP, the German Workers' Party. The goal of the party, according to one of its founders, Gottfried Feder, was to reconcile nationalism and socialism. It was a lecture by Gottfried Feder in 1919 that attracted Adolf Hitler to the party. Yet within a year, the party changed its name in order to have a name that more accurately expressed its core political principles. The new name of the party was the National Socialist German Workers' Party. At a rally in Munich in 1920, with over 2,000 participants, the party announced its new platform, a 25-point program. The main authors of the program were Hitler, Feder, and a third man named Anton Drexler. To understand what National Socialism stood for, the main points of the program are worth a closer look. A major theme of the program is a stress upon collectivism and a rejection of individualism. Point number 10 of the program, for example, says that it must be the first duty of every citizen to perform mental or physical work. Individual activity must not violate the general interest, but must be exercised within the framework of the community and for the general good. National Socialism thus consciously rejects Western liberal individualism with its rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, all of which are individualistic. Nazism is collectivistic. It does not hold that individuals have their own lives to live and happinesses to pursue. Rather, individuals should work for the good of the community out of a sense of duty. Individuals should serve the general good, to which they subordinate their personal lives. Point number 24 returns to this theme and emphasizes it strongly. The common interest before self-interest. The bold print and the capitalization is in the original for emphasis. A second major theme of the Nazi program is a stress upon socialism and a strong rejection of capitalism. Numerically, socialism is the most emphasized part of the Nazi program. For over half of its 25 themes, 14 out of the 25 to be exact, itemize economically socialist demands. Point number 11 calls for the abolition of all income gained by loaning money at interest. Point number 12 demands the confiscation of all profits earned by German businesses during World War I. Point 13 demands the nationalization of all corporations. Point 14 demands the profit sharing in large industrial enterprises. Point 15 demands the generous development of state-run old age insurance. Point 16 calls for the immediate socialization of the huge department stores. And so on. So strong was the party's commitment to socialism that in 1921 it entered into negotiations to merge with another socialist party, the German Socialist Party. The negotiations fell through, but a commitment to economic socialism remained a key Nazi theme through the 1920s. For example, here is Adolf Hitler in a speech in 1927. We are socialists. We are enemies of today's capitalistic economic system for the exploitation of the economically weak, with its unfair salaries, with its unseemly evaluation of a human being according to wealth and property instead of responsibility and performance, and we are all determined to destroy this system under all conditions. Even more strongly than Adolf Hitler, Joseph Goebbels hated capitalism and urged socialism. Dr. Joseph Goebbels was perhaps the most brilliant and educated of all of the Nazi politicians, and when the Nazis came to power, he was to become one of the most powerful of the very top Nazis, perhaps number 2 or 3 behind Hitler himself. But Goebbels' commitment to National Socialist principles began much earlier. He received a wide-ranging classical education from 5 universities in Germany before receiving his PhD degree from Heidelberg University in 1921. During his graduate student days, he absorbed and agreed with much of the writings of communists Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Damning those he called, quote, the money pigs of capitalist democracy, unquote, Goebbels in speeches and pamphlets regularly declaimed that, quote, money has made slaves of us, unquote. Money, he argued, is the curse of mankind. It smothers the seed of everything great and good. Every penny is sticky with sweat and blood. And in language that could be right out of the writings of Karl Marx, Goebbels believed fervently, the worker in a capitalist state, and that is his deepest misfortune, is no longer a living human being, a creator, a maker. He has become a machine, a number, a cog in the machine without sense or understanding. He is alienated from what he produces. The Nazi solution then is strong socialism. The state should control the economy, organizing production and distribution in the collective interest. But this raises a question. So far, the Nazi program has emphasized that collectivism and socialism take precedence over the individual, but what collective social grouping takes precedence? Here, the Nazis emphatically define their collectivism in terms of nationalism. Individuals belong primarily to racial and ethnic groups, and it's their racial and ethnic groups that give them their core identities. In the Nazi program, 7 out of the 25 points speak directly to this issue. The issue is a little complicated here because the Nazis have 3 enemies in mind whom they are careful to distinguish themselves from. First, they reject Marxist socialism, or any socialism that puts economic groupings first. As much as the Nazis hate capitalism, they do not see the world as a battle between economic interests. To them, the Marxists are too narrowly focused on money. But money is only part of the real battle. The real battle is between different biological and cultural groups, groups with different languages, religions, values, laws, histories. For them, the battle is between Germans with their particular biological and cultural inheritance against all of the other racial cultures of the world. Second, the Nazis reject cosmopolitanism, an ideal of Western liberals who believe that human beings are essentially the same the world over, and who think that one should strive to be a citizen of the world, at home anywhere your travels might take you. The Nazis are nationalists, and they reject any form of internationalism or cosmopolitanism. These themes explain why the Nazis designed the swastika flag as they did, as a symbolic integration of socialism and nationalism. Red is symbolic of socialism, white is symbolic of nationalism, and the swastika symbol itself, according to Hitler, is symbolic of the Aryan struggle for supremacy against a world that is trying to destroy the Germans. And so in the Nazi program of 1920, we have several points about German national identity and asserting German needs and goals. Point 1 demands the unification of all ethnic Germans into a greater Germany. Point 8 demands that immigration by non-Germans be halted and that all those who have immigrated recently be expelled from the country. Public offices can be open only to citizens, and point 3 defines citizenship in terms of the possession of German blood. And the possession of German blood is defined carefully to eliminate a third target of the Nazis, those whom they hate even more than the Marxists or the liberal capitalists, and that is the Jews. Point 3 of the program denies that Jews can be racial comrades of the Germans, and this point, in combination with the other points, effectively shuts the Jews out of German life. In this poster, we can see the 3 heads of the dragon: the communist, the international capitalist, and the Jew, the enemies the pure German warrior must defeat. From the beginning of the party in 1920, the strong German nationalism and anti-Semitism are, like the collectivism and the socialism, core Nazi themes.